set up the camera for a portrait, you can use either the appropriate scene mode, or, for more control over your functions, I recommend using the Aperture priority mode instead. You might need to set the flash, set the ISO, and as always, you'll want to set an appropriate white balance. To set the appropriate scene mode, go ahead and turn the mode dial to SCN. In the back, use the navigation buttons to move the highlighted field to the portrait scene profile. Then press Set. With the portrait scene profile selected, the camera is now optimized for capturing portraits. Go ahead and compose the image the way you want it, and press the shutter button halfway to lock focus. Once the camera has locked focus, you can press the shutter button the rest of the way to take the picture. With this scene setting, you do have control over white balance and the flash, but you don't have control over the aperture. Even though the camera does try to set the best aperture possible, I usually recommend using the Aperture priority mode instead. Turn the mode dial to A. The Aperture priority mode allows you to set the aperture you want to use while the camera sets the appropriate shutter speed. This is perfect for portraits because you want to set a very shallow depth of field, or a low aperture value. Press the exposure button right here to highlight the aperture value. Then use the right or left navigation buttons to adjust this value. I'll use the left navigation button to move this all the way down to f3.3. This will get me the shallowest depth of field possible, which means only the subject will be in focus and the background will be blurred out. Go ahead and press the exposure button again. Now I'd like to set the flash. Press the flash button or the right navigation button right here and go down to Forced Flash On. You can use the Forced Flash Off option if you just want to illuminate your subject using ambient light, but I'll turn the flash on and press Set. Now go ahead and press the Quick Menu button to access the Quick Menu, and again use the navigation buttons to move over to the ISO function. You can use Auto ISO, it really depends on how much light is in your scene. For extremely low light situations, I recommend manually increasing the ISO. If there's a lot of light in your scene, for example outdoors on a sunny day, you can just set this to ISO 80 or Auto. For this demonstration, I'll keep mine set to ISO 80 because that will produce the cleanest image possible. Move to the left to choose the white balance function. Because I am using the flash, I'm going to choose the daylight white balance. The daylight white balance has the closest color temperature to the camera's flash. If you're not using the flash, you can use cloudy if it's a cloudy day, or shade if you're in the shade or if you just want to warm up the tones in the image a bit. If you're indoors, use incandescent, but again, not if you're using the flash. If the flash is illuminating the subject, I recommend using the daylight white balance. Go ahead and press Set or the Quick Menu button to escape the quick menu. Now the camera is optimized for taking flash pictures of a person. The aperture is set for a shallow depth of field. My flash is forced on. My white balance is properly set for flash photography, and my ISO is set to 80. Go ahead and place the focusing brackets over the subject and press the shutter button halfway to lock focus. Once the camera has locked focus, recompose the image the way you want it in the screen. Then, press the shutter button the rest of the way to take the shot.